Hey guys, welcome to this video. Thanks for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome. Welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness. My highest levels of love light. This is just going to be a brief energy update. I'm doing a light language video soon. And I'm also going to be doing a video, but I'm just going to go right into it. This is an energy update based on my own individual unique expression and my perspective. So that's why I do these, because I know there's others out there who might be experiencing something similar to what I'm going through. So I'm currently in isolation right now with my mother and my sister. Not my whole family, but just them. We all tested positive for the lovely, well, you guys know what it is. I am referring to it as corvid, and I'm going to tell you why. Before this before the pandemic happened, whatever we want to label it as, I had been getting signs. I kept writing about corvid, and I couldn't quite understand what was going on with this corvid. And I assumed that it had been crow, or had been a form of crow, which of course is shape-shifting and magic. But I was misinterpreting the word. So I'm sharing this with you guys because sometimes when we use our intuition, we get symbols and we get words, we get pictures, but it is based on our own filtration system. So it doesn't necessarily guarantee that how we're interpreting it is exactly what it means. But on the flip side, I'm lovingly calling it this because to me it is a shapeshifter, and it is showing me the magic within my own body. I'm a little emotional, so this is a little difficult video for me to do. It's a little raw. But hey, I'm just speaking my truth, right? It's gone, for me personally, I've gone through what I'm jokingly calling 5 stages of grief. I've gone through anger, frustration, and I'm not at all comparing it to grief. I want to actually just take a step back and say that there's a lot of sensitivity right now about words that we're using and labels that we're calling and people and things. And once this hit me and my family, it has changed my entire perspective, which is why I know I chose to experience this. So that I could share it with others, so that I could see what others are going through, so that I could integrate it and eat the shadow of the crow within my own being, within my own experience. So it's a very powerful journey for me that I've been going through this week. And you go through these stages. I've actually had many different things happen this week that I may decide not to talk about, involving certain other people and their realities and their beliefs around this virus, right? I'm not even calling it that. I'm still referring to it as corvid, because when I sat with it the other night and I just wanted to connect with it and kind of get in tune with it in my body, I realized in that moment it's an entity and it's inside of me, and all is one. It's fractal, right? So even though we know now, or do we, but we'll just say it's man-made or not, whatever, it's here. It's within my own body. So I had to really move through resistance. And every time my body would tighten up and I would get angry and frustrated and sad, I would process those, digest those emotions, integrate those emotions, and come back into a deeper awareness of recognizing that my body is remapping its entire system to accommodate this entity. And what an immense job for this immune system to literally constantly be evolving and shifting in order to counter and process this entity. I'm calling it an entity because that's what it is. It's a living being. The sensitivity around opinions of others, I've kind of just lost a little bit because nobody knows until you're going through it. And what you experience in your own reality is completely different than what I experience in my own reality. Even though we may have the same symptoms, what those symptoms and the response that elicits from our emotional body, from our physical body, memories that are brought up, potentials that are revealed are different for all of us. And so this is a unique and individual journey as well. It isn't just about all of us experiencing this together. Sorry about the noise. It's unique to each of us. And so it's been emotional for me. And I know for quite a few others as well. Interestingly, while I've been experiencing this, even though I've been in isolation, there's been a lot of other things going on. Obviously, you guys are probably have a lot of things going on for you as well. A lot going on the world stage that is also emotional and somewhat traumatizing, very traumatizing for some. Because we care and we have a heart and we love humanity. And it's difficult to see others suffering. It's hard to see your family suffer. It's hard to see other people suffer. And so I've been in a very constant state of prayer. And, I think I pray and I think that I meditate and I think that I do all the things that I'm supposed to do. And by the way, I do my immune stuff and all that. I'm not going to here to talk about all that. I will say briefly, I was very tired and I had been off of my routine for about a week and a half. So the question becomes, well, is that why this happened? And I firmly believe, no, I chose this. I chose to experience this so that I could digest it, integrate it, process it, and connect with the entity that it is. And so a big part of this for me has been acceptance and saying, all right, here we are. Let's work together. Let's work together, little corvid, my little crow friend. I'm a little bit spacier than usual, so I apologize. Did I mention I had been seeing corvid and COVID and magic? Not recognizing. When we have that intuition, we don't always necessarily interpret it 100% right. We still have to work it through our filtration system. So for me, it's been a very intense journey, and I'm still in it. What else is there to say about it? So much. I'm going to be doing a video showing maybe with some healing energy and some work around it for those who might be experiencing it right now. Soon. The biggest thing that came through when I did the healing work on myself was working around the chest and the heart, of course, but also just really honoring my body and just loving it and not getting frustrated, because that's easy when you're feeling helpless a little bit, recognizing that you're not helpless, right? Recognizing that it's just about shifting your perspective about how you can help yourself. It may not be that we're able to help ourselves in the same way when we're sick, but we can help ourselves in other ways. So lots of just connecting with water, taking baths, and prayer again. So the prayer, that's right. So I've been praying and sending out loving energy to so many people in the last week. Because being in isolation, you start to realize, for me, I've realized how connected we all are. I've had to really be patient with others who don't necessarily understand. And really get back to the basics of what's important. And for me, what's important is family. Sorry, I had to take a little sip at the dolphin cup, dolphin energy. Really the same things that are always important, but we get caught up in life, right? I mean, I have a friend right now who's got it, and she's taking care of a 2.5-year-old, a 1-year-old, her mother, her father, and her husband has it. And I know there's questions around this. We'll say that a lot of the people that I know that are affected, and they're all here in California. I know several who are sick, very sick right now, who have done things to protect themselves against this, and others who are sick who have not done things to protect themselves against this. And they're equally sick, which also brought up, many different questions, and it's been quite the journey. So I am sharing this raw video, I guess, because it's difficult when you're going through it and you're in it to stay in a place of complete, that we have this idea that we need to stay neutral, we need to stay sunshine and rainbows, and I just want to remind everybody that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel anger and shame or guilt, but process it, integrate it, and not wallow in it. I felt fear for my family this week and my friends who are sick. I felt frustration, anger. But I felt, as I felt these things, how that felt in my body, and it was very much a resistant energy. And so I allowed it to move through me, and then I just realized all of that is part of the human, right? The human experience. And maybe I needed to experience those things so that I could remember the deeper essence of peace, because that's kind of the stage that I'm at right now. The emotions haven't stopped, and the emotions can be for a number of reasons. It's not just because of this magical entity that's moving through my body, this shadow, right? I go back to corvid because it's the crow, it's the shadow, it's the shapeshifter. I'm integrating all of that energy, but it's just at this juncture, it's a deep sense of peace. It doesn't mean that we don't feel all those other things and that our hearts don't go out to those who are unable to fully recover from this, for whatever reason. That I've been praying for all of those individuals as well, and I won't stop. There's a lot of beings that need our support, not our judgment, not our blame, not our anger. Because if we're feeling those things, others are feeling them too. And one of the biggest things I've just come into this space of peace about is the things that aren't important, such as other people's opinions. It's so irrelevant right now. When you've got something massive going on in your lives, all of that other stuff that is just being thrown around just doesn't stick, because it's not the true juice of who we are. And that's the messages that have been coming through. So I'm just going to end on this note. My guides have been saying, remember who you are. Your body is growing in this experience. You didn't do anything wrong. This is a message to anybody else who needs to hear this. You didn't do anything wrong. It may be that you chose to go through this so that you could integrate it, so that you could process it for others. Because when we work on ourselves, we're working on others. It's a fractal. Keeps going and going and going. It's energy. When we come into that deeper sense of peace, that has a ripple effect as well. When we process our anger, when we process our frustration, and when we feel our emotions, it's clearing and integrating and dissolving. And we are then doing the work, not just for ourselves, but also assisting others. It's all about compassion and heart, intuition right now. Well, it always is, but not getting wrapped up in these petty stories. Now, realizing that some of the stories are not petty, some of the stories are big, but still recognizing it has to start with our home base, so that we can then process the truth of what's really going on around us and bring it back into, this is who we really are. A human having an experience, a multidimensional being that has access to healing properties within our bodies, has access to our guides, our angels, the galactics. We have so much help here right now. It's hard to see that if we're wrapped up in our emotions. I dreamed that there was a massive lightning bolt that hit on Monday night, like ball lightning, and it went out like spider electricity through my body and through the other bodies of the people that were in my dream. And I just let it move through me. And I knew in that moment that there was a massive surge of energy coming in. And sometimes our immune system has to reset itself in order to absorb that energy and process it. Otherwise, it just ricochets off from one perspective. I've been guided to play with the word ricochet, so I'll do that a little bit later. So that was one of the messages for the energy update. We're getting massive energy coming in still right now. And so that's a double whammy, right? Because I had the symptoms. Remember when we used to talk about ascension symptoms? Remember when we used to talk about twin flames? Remember when we used to talk about all that stuff? I had some mixed in with all of this that were reminiscent of 4 years ago, which was massive. So I do feel we're in this space of a portal. So all this energy is coming in, funneling in, and meeting us where we are, giving us a push. So whenever we have this push, it's like big things happen, big events happen, earth changes happen, because everything shifts in order to absorb the energy from one perspective, and everything shifts in order to move with the new energy. And that might mean a lot of things come up that are something that we just have to process. So being patient with each other is so important right now. And I was not necessarily patient this week while I wasn't feeling well and had some differences of opinion again. People had different ideas and concepts that seemed outrageous to me, but I had to remind myself, this is again, they see how they see and I see how I see. That doesn't mean we're going to see with the same vision, because we've all had different experiences and different perspectives. You know, a 5-foot person is not going to see things the same way as a 7-foot person is. Because they're not able to see up as high. So everybody's different. I had to remind myself of that over and over again. So those are some of the energy updates and just my own personal experience of this connection with this entity. So I'll be providing a healing video based on what worked for me and what maybe can help for the collective. I'll share that this week. And there's so much more that came up during this, but I'm going to drink some water and maybe tune into some light language and share that next instead. So thank you so much for tuning in. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I'm here with you guys having this human experience. And we're all really experiencing this together in our own way. And it's beautiful and all the other emotions that we have at the same time, right? So thank you for being here with me, with each other, now. In love and light, guys. Namaste.